Coming up on today's show, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 gets its official launch the same week as Hyundai announced a global recall for its Kona EV. Tesla gears up to use nickel-free, cobalt-free LFP batteries in all of its standard range vehicles, and Amazon continues its worldwide commitment to electrifying its fleet by switching to all-electric three-wheelers in India. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to TEN Transport Evolved News. We have plenty of cool stories to get through today, so let's get on with it. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Join them and help the switch from fossil fuels to electric today by heading to electricauto.org. This week started with the official unveiling of the all-new 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5 electric CUV. The first vehicle to be built on Hyundai Kia's brand new e-GMP platform, this electric vehicle not only looks stunning and very different to anything else on the market, but has decent specifications too. Aside from 800-volt charging capabilities, something which Hyundai says means the Ioniq 5 can recharge from 10% to 80% full in under 20 minutes, and up to 290 miles or 466 kilometers of range, that's with its highest capacity battery, the Ioniq 5 features Vehicle to Load, a brand new feature for Hyundai that makes it possible to pull up to 3.5 kilowatts of instantaneous AC power from your car to use as an emergency power backup solution. Official pricing and full specs to follow. Rivian has been busy this week teasing new videos of its production intent R1T taking part in some final winter testing ahead of its planned launch. In a slew of new videos this week, the company also confirmed that it intends first deliveries of the R1T to begin in June this year, which is a few months ahead of the August launch date that we were all expecting. At the same time, a local planning meeting in Salida, Colorado, led to the discovery that Rivian's planned network of high-powered charging stations, called the Rivian Adventure Network, or RAN for short, would be capable of providing up to 300 kilowatts of instantaneous DC power, with voltages ranging between 200 and 920 volts. Now that is a beefy charging station. Amidst a concern for supply chain stability, Tesla has confirmed that it will switch all of its standard range battery packs for its vehicles to use a cheaper lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, chemistry. Previous generation battery packs used both nickel and cobalt, metals that not only have ethical mining concerns, but which have been soaring in price this year and dropping in availability. While more energy dense and thus better for longer distance packs than LFP, the switch to LFP follows continued development by Tesla in LFP tech, which has seen it churn out significant numbers of LEP battery-packed Tesla cars from Giga Shanghai. While LFP packs are heavier and reportedly don't like cold weather as much, the switch makes sense for entry-level Teslas, and it might even make those cars cheaper since LFP is a lot less expensive to produce. Talking of batteries, Redwood Materials, the company founded by former Tesla CTO J.B. Straubel, has announced that it has entered into an agreement with Envision AESC to recycle its batteries. Who are Envision AESC? Well, that's the name given to the company which spun off from Nissan a few years ago, a company that produced and continues to produce lithium-ion battery cells for the Nissan LEAF and Nissan ENV200 electric vehicles. This deal will not only ensure that those battery packs are properly recycled at the end of life, and those materials will then make their way back into the battery supply chain, but it will also give Redwood Recycling a long-term source of income to help it expand and grow its recycling operations in the coming years. Sticking with batteries, one more story that is, Hyundai this week officially announced what must be one of the largest and most expensive recall campaigns in history, certainly the most expensive EV recall campaign, totaling more than $900 million worth of cost. Confirming that it will replace the battery packs in more than 75,000 Hyundai Kona EVs, nearly 6,000 Ioniq EVs, and 305 city buses, the recall is the accumulation of a long investigation into the cause of multiple Hyundai Kona fires around the world in the last 12 months. Hyundai used LG Energy-supplied cells that were produced at an LG facility in Nanjing, China, for all of its affected vehicles, and after a software update failed to stop fires from occurring, has opted for this costly recall instead. LG Chem said the fault was caused by a misalignment during the cell components of manufacture. It's still not clear if it will affect Chevy Bolt EVs or not, which Chevy has said uses a different cell design. We are all used to covering high-end expensive electric motorcycles on this channel, but more affordable models are the ones that really do have a chance of making an impact in the marketplace, which is why we're happy to report on the launch of 3 new models from Super Soco this week. During a reveal held this week, the company unveiled 3 new models, a 50cc class equivalent electric scooter and 2 125cc equivalent electric motorcycles. The TS Street Hunter and TC Wanderer aren't going to be fast enough for motorway use, but both of these motorcycles should handle surface street commutes, even if they have a limited top speed of 46.6 miles per hour, or 75 kilometers per hour. In addition to these, there's the Super Soco CU Mini, a moped that younger riders might enjoy. That said, I don't know about much pricing or availability yet, so watch this space. Ahead of its planned launch event next week, Porsche has teased some more video of its production intent Taycan Cross Turismo undergoing final testing. Revealed in concept form several years ago now, the Cross Turismo shares much of the Porsche Taycan's underpinnings, including its insane drivetrain and battery pack. But with a sportback-style rear, the Cross Turismo will be marketed at those who want a more outdoorsy adventure vehicle than a standard Taycan can offer. Oh, and of course, those with lots of money and children. Yes, this is another 1%er's car, but I've said it before, if it gets people out of their Macans and into something a little more environmentally responsible, I'm all for it. Lucid Motors officially announced it plans to enter into the stock market this week with a special purpose acquisition company merger with Churchill Capital Corp IV. The merger with the SPAC in question, run by financier Michael Klein, will raise about $16.3 billion, leaving Lucid's existing shareholders with $11.75 billion and Lucid itself holding on to $4.4 billion in cash on hand. But it turns out that while both companies were eager for the reverse merger, Wall Street had other ideas. The blank check company's stock more than halved in the few days since the announcement. Part of the concern over this appears to be around the Lucid valuation in the deal, but as I've said before, and I will say it again, SPACs are a backdoor onto the stock market, and I'm personally wary of any merger carried out like this. Ever since its ID.4 electric car was officially unveiled, Volkswagen has struggled to keep up with demand. In the US, it sold out of its launch edition ID.4 in just a few hours, prompting it to expand that launch version to more customers. But this week, Volkswagen announced the first step to remedying the high demand it's had, increasing its production at its Zwickau production facility to introduce a third ID.4 production shift. This will make ID.4 production 24/7, and it will mean that come the summer, Volkswagen's facility will be making 1,400 electric vehicles every single day. The third shift will start production in April, and by the end of this year, Volkswagen's US production facility is expected to be online, producing North American ID.4s. And now it's time for short shorts. Volvo and its sibling company Polestar have officially pushed the first over-the-air update for its new electric vehicles, the Volvo XC40 Recharge and Polestar 2, which are essentially the same underneath. The update increases range per charge and the DC quick charging maximum speed. President Biden has signed an executive order this week designed to tackle shortages in both the microprocessor and electric vehicle supply chains. The order will instigate a review to secure and expand supply chains for raw materials used in EV battery production and semiconductors. Sticking with politics, Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley and Vermont Congressman Peter Welch introduced the Electric Cars Act this week. It's an attempt to increase incentives for electric vehicles and completely removes the cap on the number of eligible vehicles. It will also allow credits to be used by consumers over a 5-year period. Fisker announced its official 2020 financials this week, recording a $42 million loss in 2020. In addition, the company announced this week that it's abandoned its plans for building solid-state battery packs for its upcoming Ocean EV. Nikola Motor also announced its financials for 2020 this week, recording a $207 million loss last year. That is hardly a surprise given last year, and frankly, it is to be expected. I should remind you, though, that Nikola is still being heavily supported by its long-term institutional investors. Lucid has officially pushed back the start of deliveries for its Lucid Air sedan to the second half of this year. In an interview with Bloomberg this week over the company's merger, Peter Rawlinson, company CEO, confirmed that production and deliveries will not start until the second half of this year. The US Postal Service has officially chosen Oshkosh Defense as the winner of a $482 million contract to build the next generation of Postal Service delivery vehicles. Sadly, the fleet will mainly be internal combustion engine to begin with a few electric models, but apparently will be retrofitted to electric drivetrains in the future. LG Energy has confirmed that it's working on a new production line where it will build 4680 form factor cells for Tesla. The prototype production line is rumoured to be finished before Panasonic has finished its own prototype 4680 production line. The state of Washington's House Transportation Committee voted this week to advance legislation that will require all new cars sold in the Evergreen state from 2030 onwards to be electric. It still requires final votes in both houses, but support in Washington state is extremely high. It could be the first state in the union to require EVs. The ongoing microprocessor shortage caused Tesla to announce it would be closing down its Model 3 production line for 2 weeks this week, but then it just opened 2 days later. The entire auto industry is being slowed by this global shortage. Hyundai has officially announced that SKI Innovation and CATL will be its chosen battery cell suppliers for the third batch of e-GMP vehicles. The announcement does explain why North America's Ioniq 5 customers will get a different battery capacity to those in other markets, as SK Innovation is now technically banned from selling batteries in the US. Volvo Trucks, working alongside courier firm DHL, has announced a new partnership designed to accelerate the transition to long-range, heavy-haulage electric trucks in Europe. Starting in March, the two companies will operate electric-only trucks between 2 logistics terminals in Sweden. Just 1 week after it announced a price drop for the standard range Tesla Model Y, the company has removed the vehicle entirely from its online ordering system. Rumours initially suggested it would be available as an off-menu item, but counter reports from those who've tried to order it state that Tesla says it will no longer be making any. Michelin has announced a new tyre designed specifically for high-performance electric sports cars. Thanks to the talk of high-end EVs, traditional sports car tyres don't last all that long, and these new shoes are both energy efficient while also being able to offer high grip and withstand high-torque abuse. Seat's Cupra sub-brand has confirmed that the Born concept will launch this year as the Cupra Born, based on the same platform as the Volkswagen ID.3. Seat is part of the Volkswagen Group. This sporty hatch will be Cupra's first all-electric model. Porsche caused quite a stir this week by announcing that it believes a synthetic fuel it's working on with Bosch could be as green as electric cars. The fuel is made by combining hydrogen and carbon from the air to make methanol, which is then turned into a biofuel and burnt in the vehicles. European charging network Fastned has officially closed its latest funding round, raising more than €150 million in the process. The charging network raised the money through what's known in Europe as an accelerated book build offering. Nikola Motor has announced yet more vehicles and published yet more renderings of promised trucks this week. Its new portfolio includes the Nikola Tre and renamed Nikola One, which is now called the Nikola 2 FCV Sleeper. The latter, it claims, can offer 900 miles of range, but we are talking Nikola here. A US charging network, EVGo, has officially banned any unofficial, non-manufacturer-approved charging adapters from its network, including the Tesla to CCS adapter made by CTEC Power. It's also banned all homemade, modified or tweaked EVs from using its network. We made a video on this one, so check it out later. Be careful where you use Tesla's summon feature, or someone might think that your car is running away. That's the moral this week, after a Tesla owner caught a passerby by running away in fear after their car activated summon mode. Just use summon mode smartly if you have it, eh? And those are your short shorts. There will be more next week. After the winter storm hit large parts of the US earlier this month, the topic of being able to power your home from your car has been at the forefront of many people's minds, including my own when I thought we were going to lose power. But if you have a Tesla, running an inverter from your car's 12-volt power source could technically void your warranty, as one Oregonian Tesla owner found out this week. After our recent storm wiped out his power, he connected a 12-volt inverter to his Tesla to provide enough power to operate the electrical system inside his gas furnace, as well as operate his refrigerator and a few lights. But after his Tesla began to send messages stating its 12-volt battery needed replacing, and the local Tesla service centre discovered a Facebook post from him talking about running his car inverter to power his home, they say he voided his warranty. There in the terms and conditions is an exclusion prohibiting using your Tesla as a stationary power source. And frankly, that makes me pretty mad. How about you? And finally, Amazon has, for the last couple of years, been expanding its delivery fleet around the world, first with internal combustion engine vehicles, and then, in more recent years and months, with electric ones. In Europe, we've seen Amazon acquire substantial fleets of electric Sprinter vans. In North America, we've seen it roll out the start of a new fleet of Rivian-built, Amazon-branded delivery vehicles. But in India, Amazon has just announced a new partnership with Indian automaker Mahindra. The two companies will be working together across many major Indian cities to roll out a fleet of all-electric three-wheeled Treo Zor EVs. Based on the all-electric Treo Auto Rickshaw, the cargo variants will be manufactured at Mahindra's lead-certified production facility in Bangalore, or Bengaluru if you are a local. Having toured this facility myself, it's great to see these tiny, efficient EVs help to decarbonise India's heavily polluted and heavily crowded roads. And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for their sponsorship of today's roundup. They have been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. You can find out how to join, how to become a local EV educator yourself, find local monthly meetup groups to attend, virtually at the moment, of course, or find EV owners near to you that you can ask questions about if you fancy making the switch to electric by going to electricauto.org. I would love it if you'd comment and subscribe to this channel, as well as considering supporting myself and the rest of the team using the links below. You'll also find a link to our Discord chat room, which is completely free to join, so please give it a go if you'd like. And don't forget to check out our Redbubble TE merch store. There are plenty of goodies there. And we have now selected a shortlist for our social media team. So if you did apply and you haven't heard from us yet, please do check your inbox, your spam inbox, because there might be an email in there. I'll be back next week, but until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, stay safe, and as always, keep evolving.